Hello.
Hello. Welcome to the Simply Together show on the 1st of August. Can you believe it's the 1st of August already?
I'm stumped. It's like the year is just running away. So, hello, everybody.
It's the 1st of August, and if you look out your window, that is not August weather.
But is it not August weather though?
Well, it shouldn't be.
I'm of the opinion that we were spoilt during lockdown, the first lockdown in particular, when everything was clear, everything was warm, and it was like it was warm uncharacteristically from about, when did we go into lockdown? In March. So yeah, from like the end of March all the way through. And yeah, I just think we've come to kind of expect that.
So then they need to tell us. so you hit us with this deadly disease, and send us into this pandemic, and you keep us in lockdown, and now you've taken away our summer. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that could be a way
something along those lines.
I just wouldn't want to see any men in white coats when we put it like that. But yeah.
How you doing, Nico? Are you good?
You know what? We thank God. Yes, we are good. Thank you. It's just interesting times. Like it's funny to be talking about the weather and associated, but obviously with the kids being off school, something you said last week, I think it was last week, might be the week before, really kind of resonated with me when you were talking about the fact that, you know, for some children, the school holidays is not as fun. And I'm just thinking with the weather being so poor, that even the most cheapest activity you could do, which is to go to the park or to go and play out with your friends, is kind of curtailed.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was kind of on my mind when it just, I think it was, what day was it? It was Sunday, and I was there, and I looked up and I'm like, oh my God, it's raining. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's been raining since. I didn't notice.
Well, that's Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday. Every day there's been sun and rain. Yeah.
So
and you're right, so today we're going to talk a little bit about the weather, but how that relates to young, you know, children and young and teenagers, and how that relates to the economy as well, because it's like a circle, isn't it? So it all affects the other.
Yeah.
You know, so we've spoken before about we're in an economy crisis. We're in an economic crisis. Things are not good out there. Things are quite difficult.
It's yeah. Somebody at work, they've got 4 children, and she said to me, "Okay, I went to, I think it was Asda. She went to, and she wanted to buy a big pack of fish fingers, and she said £7.50. I couldn't help myself. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And you see, the thing is, it's fish fingers, so you can't even say, "Oh, make them yourself," because it's fish.
Well, you could.
Yeah, you could make them yourself, but it's not going to be that cheap, though, is it? That's the point.
No, it isn't. It isn't, because if you make something like fish fingers and you're using proper fish, then that's going to come out to be just as expensive, even, you know, a little more than that. But what, £7.50 for a big bag of fish fingers? That's such a lot of money. It's such a lot of money. It really is. Yeah. What's it like out there, people? Hello, Dee. How you doing? Whoever's listening, whoever's watching, what is it like out there? What's it like for you? When you go and do your shopping, is that having an impact on, you know, the cost of everything? I went to the shops Sunday you know, and you buy your essentials and you're looking at the prices of the essentials, and then you then look to see if you can then afford anything else. So my thing is crisps. So I go down the crisps aisle, and you've got kettle crisps, which I might treat myself to every now and then. If you've got a Tesco's club card, they're £1.50. If you haven't, they're £2.25. Now, they used to be £1.50 last year, and then you could get them for £1, and that's when you buy them.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. It's absolutely
ridiculous. I had the same with apples. I went out the other day.
See, this is how we both work. Nike's looking at fruit, and I'm looking at crisps. Go on. How much are the apples?
The apples, oh God, it was daft, but it was that thing where there were one price if you had your club card.
Yeah.
And another price. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not fair. I actually didn't have my club card with me. And I ended up buying, I know, because my phone, anyway, we won't talk about my phone on air. But yeah, I didn't have my club card. And I was walking, I just thought, oh dear, I've ended up paying the higher price for those apples. And I just think, out of all the fruits, you know, apples are actually quite filling and stuff like that. And I think those are the type of fruits that people who are on a budget are more likely to want to buy. I could be wrong here. Please correct me if I'm wrong, people. But, and I was just thinking, but why? Why do they need to be so expensive? And then why do they need, and then what they do for the cheaper ones, they're really horrible.
Exactly.
And that is what I have genuinely noticed. I think, and where they're saying, oh, they're trying to keep costs down, what you've got the size shrinkage. So, and I'm just thinking that impacts people, especially like people that want to, you know, like I said, from the offset, go to the park, take a picnic with them, or even if they're going out and they need to take their own food with them to keep the costs down. So nutrition is like a little bit more things that are all in cahoots. It's just ridiculous.
Do you think they're all
a little
in
bit
cahoots?
Of me? Not all, but I think the supermarkets are very clever. They know what they're doing. Especially the Lidl and Aldi. Yeah, I'm convinced of it.
So Deez said that she remembers when her food budget was £20 a week for a family of 4. I don't think you can even get a few things from the local shop for 20 quid. You know, you can't.
Well, this is the thing. You can't, because exactly, £20 a week. I did see somebody make a demonstration of feeding a family of 4 for £5
a day.
But
is that £5 a day?
That was one meal. No, that was one meal.
Okay, so one meal.
That was one meal, and it was very basic. It was literally, she had chicken, potatoes, and carrots. That's what she had. And even afterwards, after I came out of it, I thought, even that chicken, she had to portion it, because you do not get chicken, that amount of chicken. So she would have had to, you know, buy the packet and then weigh it out to see this is what you can get for the £5 with the potatoes and things like that. And I'm just thinking, I mean, you've got the other spectrum where people, of course, they're affected, but they're not impacted.
And that's the difference, isn't it? It's the people who are affected as opposed to the people who are impacted. So, you know, so lots of us are affected by this, but there are lots of people out there where this is having a massive impact on their everyday lives. You know, so that person makes a meal for £5. That's £35 over 7 days, but that's only the one meal. And if you're looking at 3 meals a day, and if you and actually there's so many people who are not even having 3 meals a day. Some people are only having 1 meal a day. You know,
I know we're in the UK, but in Nigeria, when I listen to a lot of the posts there, And this has been going on for a while, but it's obviously it's much more prevalent now when they talk about 001. And some people will make a joke, oh, are you doing 010? Meaning, are you having only lunch, no breakfast, no
Yeah.
dinner?
Yeah.
And I just thought to myself, yeah, it's a nice, light-hearted way of describing it, but that's very serious and it's happening all
Yeah.
over the world.
And there's a difference between doing that because that's what you've chosen to do, and maybe that works for you and your metabolism and such like. If you're having to do that because you haven't got enough money,
Got the money,
to
yeah,
buy
that's
the
where it
food,
comes from.
that's something different.
That is, yeah, exactly, and that is where that 001 or 010 comes from. It's got nothing to do with diets or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
because those people who are using that language can only afford to eat once a day.
Yeah. So Shelley's put on there, they're playing around with costs and the sizes of things. One of the butter brands has advertised reduced cost, but the block is now 230 grams rather than the 250 grams. Kellogg's Crunchy Nut Clusters. Sainsbury's said new, but it was actually a smaller box selling at the same price. They're sneaky. They're sneaky buggers, aren't they? Because they are. They're messing around with those things, making things smaller and changing the price of it and telling you that actually, look, it's only this amount of money. When actually, when you look at it, that's because it's smaller.
Yeah. And that's a business model that is obviously it's creeping mainstream, but that was the business model of the pound shops.
Yes. Yeah. Can you get something for £1 in the pound shop now? Or is that gone up?
But it's minute.
Okay.
Most things, it's a long time since I've been to the pound shop. But there were the last time I went there, most things were like 125.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
So even they've had to put their prices up.
Yeah, they would do because obviously they were probably getting leftovers, smaller sizes, and stuff like that. It's just the thing, and unfortunately, we're at a stage now going back to where it could be fun to use the, like when you talk about with kids being at home. So just for argument's sake, if you've got 3 children, obviously you've got 2 of one gender and 1 of the other, and you want to do, okay, we can't go out, we can't do this. It will still be expensive to do like home economic fun things that you could do, like baking, and let's make our own
pizzas,
or even like household things and stuff like that. Everything is geared towards wanting to take you in the shop. And sometimes when I say these things, like when I'm working, I feel really old. But it's true, isn't it? Because if you think about it, like our parents came off the back of rationing and things like that. So they had a different idea of economics and making things having to last. And it was kind of fun for the kids to join in.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now we've gone to the extreme end where we're living in apparently abundant times, but things are not so abundant. And that's bringing its own challenges with how they can be.
Yeah. We're going to have
just be outside anymore.
No. Well, not in this weather, which is where the weather comes back into it again, doesn't it? We can't, there's nothing we can do about the weather. We know that, and we're not saying that there is. But when it's that torrential rain that kind of comes for an hour or so, that means the kids have all got to go back inside, and then you've then got to entertain them when they're inside. And I think for some people, they are faced with either the TV, an Xbox, and then others may be able to do baking and cooking and what have you with them. It's sometimes it is just the TV. We're going to have some of organisations that are around that are supporting with food supplies like Food Bank, etc., coming onto the shows. Sizeflation.
Yes, that's what we're
talking
about.
Is that a thing then? Is that a real word?
That is the same. That's what we were just talking about, Cecile.
About these things getting smaller,
About
size inflation.
So they can keep the price the same. So for argument's sake, something that I have bought that was consistently 75 pence for years in Lidl, right? And now the price has gone up, but the size is still the same. And then there's the other one where the price stays the same, but the size is smaller. And when the size is smaller, that's what they refer to as sizeflation. Because bear in mind, nothing lasts forever. We will come out the other side of this, but guess what won't come out the other side? They will keep those things the same.
Yeah. Those things that have gone a bit smaller will stay smaller. They're not going to make them bigger again.
Exactly.
So there are many supermarket, cafes and chains that are offering cheaper or free meals for kids. So there's a list on www.bbcgoodfood.com. News trends, kids eat free. So there are quite a few. I know places like Morrison's do, and I think possibly Asda's do. So just go and have a look, and before you go out, you could have a look and see what there is going free, or at least at a reduced cost.
There's also that Too Good to Go.
Okay.
Too Good to Go so that comes later in the day. So basically, it's a bit like Just Eat, but it's Too Good to Go. You get I think you get some of the different prices, but like £2, £4. But you get these bags of food that are left over from the shops that are participating. I know Greggs participates, Morrison's. I think some Aldi's. I don't know that our Aldi's do, but some Aldi's do. I think some Marks and Spencers as well.
Oh, there we go. www.toogoodtogo.com.
Yeah. So I mean, that is the things there. They're not, like I said, it's probably my age showing there. But obviously, if I've mentioned that Greggs participate. So while it will be useful, I suppose, if you get a couple of pasties and you got a tin of beans in your house, that would be very useful again. But it is hit and miss because it is basically what is left over.
Yeah. Could you cook and share? So Deez said, could you cook and share? Could be a neighbour or a friend, someone you know well. That could actually work quite well. Because I
would love to do that.
You do a big pot of something and then you could share that with somebody else, one of your friends or your family members who've also got a family. So that. And then it works both ways then, doesn't it? So one person does one and then the other person does another day. So that could also work. I think it's about thinking outside the box. You need to be creative.
Yeah.
About being creative, and it's about seeing what other people are doing and see if you can join in with that, or having to look before you go shopping. If you're going shopping, say to Morrison's, for example. I haven't been to Morrison's, so I'm not just picking on Morrison's, but Morrison's, I believe, do some kind of food thing for children, so it could be that actually you go, you eat, and you do your shopping, which means you may not need to have a main.
I see. You're talking about the cafes.
Yes, the cafe.
See.
Yeah.
Oh, Nikki,
what were you thinking? What, you're eating as you're going around?
No, I just thought that maybe they would give you. I don't know what I thought, but I didn't really link it to eating in the cafe.
No, so, I'm just there are supermarkets that are doing cafe meals for kids that are either reduced or free.
Do it as well.
Yeah.
I've seen restaurants do it where they do kids eat for free.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm not being ungrateful. I do not have any sponsors that I'm looking after or anything there. But the cynical side of me suggests that they should just lower their prices.
But they're not.
Yeah.
That would be fantastic. We would love that. That would be fantastic. But at the minute, they're not. So you've then got to do whatever you can
and it's just
to make sure you get by.
And while we're on this subject, one thing I want to highlight, which seems completely outside of the subject, but it isn't, because I just think it is going to be more prevalent now, going in the last one of the summer holidays, is to be aware of these scams where they say, enter your information and Marks and Spencer's will give you this, or enter your information and Boots or etc. giving away all these vouchers. We need to be very careful of those things.
Yeah.
Because outside of the programs that we've talked about and any other program, well, emphasis on the word program, these companies are not going to just give away anything. And I just think if people are desperate or vulnerable, they might think, oh, well, you know, it's worth a try.
And
so be careful out there.
Yeah, that's the thing though, isn't it? You know, it's whatever people do, you know, it's because they want to make sure that they can provide for their families, etc., etc. So if something comes up and if you click on this, you can then get £20 food voucher or something like that, then people are going to go and do those. But actually, they turn out to be scams. So it's just about remembering that. So Shelley's put that both Shelley and her mum were guiders. So they know lots of games and indoor things. And I think there are, how do I put this politely? There's people of my age we played games. We played a lot of games. You know, I have board games still. We played games.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the smaller children now don't necessarily do that because it's all been replaced with, you know, game, whatever they are.
To be fair, I've noticed there is a bit more of outside activities and things going on, but that is a specific group of people. And the other thing where I think this goes as well, that it creates not a divide or a class system, but you will have, there are those who do and there are those who don't. So obviously, like I said, because I work in an office, the young mums here, and they're usually always out with their children doing this, that, etc. And then there are those who are not. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to pan out when all these kids get into teenagers. So I suppose it's being kind. And like you said, think outside the box and finding out things that are going.
Shelley said about batch cooking and using your freezer. So, and I know that there's a you know, that's increasing. The number of people who are batch cooking is increasing, especially people who are going out to work and things like that. So she said that her mum used up all the veg that's a bit soft and makes soup. Gets frozen into small batches and get used not only as soup but as the base of a stew as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like waste not, want not.
Yeah.
You know me, I do use that as my hashtag quite a lot because batch cooking, it does work. And obviously the larger the family, the better it is. But even if it's just two of you, it still works. And then also batch cooking lends itself to what you were suggesting before about sharing or cook an extra meal. I would actually really love to cook an extra meal, but I just don't know where I would give it.
Well, there's quite a few of us that live near you.
Jokes.
I can think of two of us off the top of my head.
Oh gosh, yeah. I think we live in a triangle.
But it's that, again, it's that thinking out the box. It's that cook and share. It's if you know that there's a deal on somewhere, share that information. You know, we go onto Facebook and Instagram and all of them, and we see all these different things on there. Tell us where you've seen a deal. You know, tell us where those things are. Put it on there, onto your Facebook, so that we all know. One of the things, I mean, my mum, when she was alive, she had obviously retired, so she would go to every single flipping shop because she ain't got nothing else to do. So she'd go to Aldi's and she'd go to Lidl's and whatever. But she would ring me and say, this shop has got this. Do you want some? I don't have anybody telling me that now. So I don't mind if you want to.
Did you find you did that in lockdown? So I
Who,
found that in
me?
lockdown.
We did. Yes,
Well,
we did. Yeah.
In lockdown, that was quite prevalent. And
yes.
I think it's something, like you said, that we need to keep up.
We were looking after each other in lockdown. And I don't mean like me and you. I think as a whole community and more, we were looking after each other. Yes, the flower. You know, we were telling each other what was happening, where the queues were, where you could get the flour, where you could get this. There was much more sharing. And why has that changed? As Dee said, why has that changed? We need to go back to that again, because actually we're now in an economy crisis. So we need to look after each other again. So if you see something, you need to put it on Facebook and let us know. Or you see something, you put it in your WhatsApp so that everybody knows. You know, if there's deals going on, we need to share. We've got to look after each other. If I'm making a big pot, which I don't do very often, but if I make a big pot, then I can share. You know, that's what we need to get back to. That there was a lot of care going on during lockdown. Checking on people, making sure they were all right. Do you need anything? There was a lot of that. We need to go back to that, because this is a difficult time. It's a difficult time for everybody. For everybody. So I'm going to do one last moan about this economy crisis. So I got my car insurance renewal form yesterday, and I was too busy, so I opened it up this morning. No, actually, I got it on Saturday and I opened it Monday, and it's gone up by over £200.
It's a problem.
£200.
Insurance is a problem.
I have little Corsa, lovely little Corsa, sat outside my house. Because I work from home, I literally use that car 3 times a week, and you're going to try and charge me over an extra £200. And when I challenged them, they said, well, it's to do with their costs and the impact of other people making claims. And I just thought, you're taking the mickey now. You're taking the mickey. And there's a few other people that I know gone on my Facebook has said that theirs has gone up.
Yeah, mine went up.
How are we supposed to pay that?
100 and something pounds, 150 something pounds, I think. It's the problem with insurance is obviously what you're talking about is particular to you, so I'm not belittling that, but it's across the board. You wait till you get your quotes for your home and building insurance. I work in the complaints department of a property company. Half the complaints I get, why is the insurance gone up so much? It is across the board, and it's something that happened. Obviously, in the buildings and home insurance, they're going to say it's because of the cladding prices. Obviously, some of it is because of the law that changed that allows them not to discriminate positively for females, for, you know, it's all of that stuff. But again, it's because they have a captive audience.
Yeah.
We have to have these things.
Yeah.
My husband, obviously, is well, it's not obvious, but for those who don't know, he drives Uber, and he has his insurance on a monthly basis, and it has gone up. He's already, from when he started that process, gone up like you, £200, and that's not even in a year. That's not even in a year. You're talking about having your last moan. So obviously my last little bit of cynicism is that the people who could curtail this don't need to bother because they're sitting pretty. You know, okay, we're on air, so I'll be kind. Rishi Sunak doesn't need to bother.
He's got millions.
Exactly, and the cronies he has around him have millions, and the people who don't, who are generally campaigning, are being shut out. So until these things happen to somebody in the peripherals that has got a bit of clout, they don't care.
No.
So,
and the thing is it has that impact, because you may then have a family of 4, family of 5, family of 3, family of 2. It doesn't matter how many you've got in your family. You may have one vehicle between you, even if you've got 2 and you're going to work and things like this. They've got to then have that insurance, and they, like you said, they know that they've got to have the insurance. And it's, and like Shelley's put, it's also, we've got people who have insurance, and then you've got the ones who don't bother. So if you get in an accident and they've got no insurance, that has an impact. Those ones that are going out stealing cars and things like that, that all has an impact. It has an impact on ours and my poor little Corsa that's sat outside doing nothing. It's not even going in.
Have you thought of trying the monthly one?
No, I want
them to
lower it because I want to moan, and I've already had a moan.
But going back to what you say there, how that, like you said, everything infiltrates out. Because in my head now, what I'm thinking is, right, yours has gone up £200. Like you said, you work at home, and you've got grown children. Flip that round the other side, where you've got a single mother who uses that car for work.
Yeah.
Or even if she doesn't use it for work, even if she's not working, but she uses it to play journey taxi to her 4 children.
But I was that single mother.
Yeah.
Mine are adults now. I was that single. I still feel like a single mother. But anyway, that's a whole that's a different show. That's another show.
You never grew up to your mother.
I was that single mother that you then pay that insurance. You then pay your house insurance. You pay those things because you don't want something to happen, and then you've got no money to then fix them and all of that lot.
Yeah.
It's and like Shelley said, you can understand the cost of food going up. Insurance, no. Why do I have to pay for the person who's claimed, who hit somebody who didn't have or someone's hit them who didn't have a insurance or whatever? Why do I have to do that? That should come out of their profits.
Because it goes back to what I said. Because how many underwriters have we got in this country? They're not many. You would know one of them, Lloyd's, and the other one, and we know who sits on the top of these things. We know the answer. So I think what we need to do.
This is so good that we're not actually on TV, because Nikkei is just throwing out those names, just throwing out them. Lloyd's, yes, we know it's Lloyd's.
Yeah, there is the Lloyd's. I can't remember the name of the other 2. Yeah, like I said, I was polite. If I was on TT, I would say what I really refer to him as. But what I was going to say is, to be fair, we're going back with all this cost of living. I like what Cecile has said about being creative and thinking out of the box. A lot of the time, we do shoot from the hip. It's panic. You look at your little loved one thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I suppose even if it's just at the beginning of the week, go on to the sites, go on, have a look on the BBC website, or shopping. I don't really know how the little points work, because I never get enough points to get any coupons in Lidl, even though I shop there at least twice a week. But those are the things where we are actually going to maximize, and then we should be like reaching out to help people. And guys, those traditional games, they are so much fun, honestly. Yeah.
The other thing before we go is there are the bus companies, due to a government scheme, can only charge the maximum of £2 for a one-way ticket. So have a look. Apparently the bus companies are not very good at covering all the towns, etc. So but have a look, because it may mean that you may be able to go out for the day with your children, go somewhere, it's only a £2, and then you're paying the £2 back. It can work out a lot cheaper. And there might be many different places that you can then go to. So it's worth having a look. It is worth having a look, you know. So regardless of our moans about car insurance and conspiracy theories that are going on there and everything else about the government and what have you, we're in an economy crisis. We need to look after each other like we did during the pandemic. We need to look after our community. You know who your people are, so you need to make sure they're okay. And if you've cooked a big pot of something, share it. I'll tell you where I live. You can drop some off for me, or I'll pick it up. But you need to share it. It's about sharing. It's about looking after each other, because it's not easy out there. You know, maybe you have the children for one day and your friends, and then you swap over. You know, maybe you do something like that as well. Trisha uses the busway from her house, and it's very useful, even though she does drive. Well, yeah, because I suppose you're going. Where are you going on the busway? Are you going from Dunstable?
It goes from Dunstable to Luton, doesn't it?
Dunstable to Luton.
Yeah.
Okay. Which I suppose you don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to pay for the parking.
Yeah.
You can literally jump on the busway, go and do what you're doing, jump back on. You know, there's ways to do these things. So it's about sharing. Have a look on our Facebook page, In Together, Share Together. There's lots of information on there. Yeah, she used to go to town. Oh no, she goes to town. She used to go to the airport. Did you get the busway? Did you go all the way to the airport?
No.
Where did you go to then? Town, and then how did you get to the airport, Trish? Quick, because we're finishing. I don't know. Does it?
So far as I know, that busway goes from Dunstable, because it goes all the way there, and then it goes, and because it starts at that, you know where the railway station is? You know that? Okay, so Cecil's giving me a black look there. Do you not know what the railway station is?
Well, which one? Because we've got
Luton.
Luton, Parkway, we've got Leagrave. Which one?
Luton.
Okay.
Luton. So you know when you come out, where you walk across and you see the Starbucks in front of you. So to the right of that, to me, that is where that busway starts.
Right,
so
it goes to the bus station and onto the airport.
Yeah, so
it's on the tracks from Dunstable into Luton Town Centre, Luton Station.
Yeah.
And then it's on a road. It's got the new road.
Oh, on a road.
It's loud on, that then goes all the way up to the airport.
To the airport,
oh, okay. So if you need to go to the airport with your loads of money that you've got to go on holiday where others are not eating, I'm only joking. I am only joking.
You see, you say that.
You can go from Dunstable on the busway to the airport.
Yeah. I'm going to share something with you guys in our group. I don't know what else we could share. It is something from the BBC archives. And it's a teacher with these primary school children. And he asks them, do you get pocket money? And this is before decimalization. So they're talking about shillings and things. And they're like, I get pocket money. And they're like, well, how much do you get? And then one person said they get this much. I said, well, what do you do with it? He says, well, I save some of it, and then I buy sweets with some of it. But the conversation was really, really interesting, because then you had the one that said that they didn't spend any at all, that they just saved it. And then if they wanted something really desperately, then they would dip into it and buy it. You've got the other one who said, well, why do you need to get so much pocket money? That's not fair. There's some families who can't feed themselves, and you're getting that much pocket money. These kids were about 7 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my phone thinking to myself, why wasn't I in that class? So they just came across as being really, really clever. And, you know, some of them were really politically aware of the need to save, of the fact that you don't need that much money. And but it's just the one guy that just said, I don't see why you need pocket money. I'm like, where are you from? It was very interesting.
So Trisha has just said that children are getting £5 from the Tooth Fairy. £5.
To do what?
This is to save, because they're not going to spend it. They're going to save it all, and they might dip into it if there's if they really want something, but if not, they're just going to save it.
Yeah.
£5.
I had a friend whose child had its pocket money in a not in a money bank thing, but in a box thing. And he used to turn around and say to his parents, okay, if you're running short of money, I'll let you borrow it. If I don't get it back, I need interest. Or I need to borrow the money.
I love it.
I used to just borrow mine anyway and then just put it back another time. You don't have to tell them, just borrow it. They don't know.
Yeah, that's very interesting. And I'm just thinking, I was watching that and I just thought, I wonder how those kids are faring today. Because obviously, now we're looking at the cost of living and the impact that we're having on the children, maybe not being able to go out, maybe not being able to take them places. And obviously not do those, what I refer, like I said, I don't want to use the word traditional, but there's the things that you do with mom or that you did with dad that teach you those, they're fun, but they teach you these life skills going forward.
Yeah. I think children and young people are much more, they know what's going on, and it's been like this for years. This isn't just something just now. You're going back to before decimalisation. They know what's going on. They understand what's going on. They may not know the intricacies and things like that, but they know when there's a problem at home, and they can see that actually the cupboards are not as full as they used to be and things like that. They may not know or understand an economy crisis, because I don't even understand it, but there you go. But they know that something is happening. They're not as silly as we think they are, So
yeah, it's not even thinking they're silly. I think it's it's probably just our misguided attempts at protecting them that makes us think that if we protect them, then they don't need to know about it. They'll maintain their innocence, but they will know about it, and they will know the difference. And that was the key thing. One of the key things that I took away from watching there, that obviously we're always going to have differences and disparities in society. We're not going to ever get away from that. Okay. All right, that might be the whole program. If mine was just excerpts.
Yeah,
honestly.
That's from the actual YouTube. Because it was 1970, you had quite a lot of kids in there as well, that you're saying about socialisation and stuff. From what I remember of it is there's one there that's obviously a parent that's gone through all the striking and everything else like that. So they've picked up all of this kind of the way that he comes across. So yeah.
So that's really interesting. And but these hard times will make for good people. So as much as the kids know what is going on, hopefully they will use it to their advantage when they're older.
So what a show. What a show. I think we've covered many things today, lots of things. But I think for me, the biggest thing to take away is we need to look after each other at this moment. And we need to make sure that everybody is, okay, and they are managing and, share. It's share your food, share what you see out in the community, make sure you're all okay. Okay.
Indeed.
So we will be back next week, 12 o'clock next Tuesday. Oh, tonight is the Real Talk Show with Simply Deez. Starts at 7. Who have you got coming on?
We have a few people that are going to be part of the youth events. We haven't quite announced what the name is yet.
Oh,
I think we might do that tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So the youth event that's then coming up on the 2nd of September.
Yeah.
So we've got Quentin is coming on. We have got Dee wrote it out earlier and I've forgotten. I know we've got V coming on because she's got her program, menopause, her second one coming up. I'm sure we've got Daniela. That's on, because she's got her event coming up with her book reading. Who else was that there?
I think that was it. I'm sure that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. V, Daniela, and Stephen the barrister.
Oh, that was it. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, the Life of Focus.
That
Life
is
of Focus guy.
Always interesting. Wow. Always interesting. Yeah. If you haven't been to any of our events, and like I say every single time, I don't know why you haven't, but if you haven't, you need to tune in tonight. Stephen, the barrister, is there's just something about him and the work that he does and the people that he supports and what he's seen, and it is just mesmerizing listening to him.
It is. My niece, you always learn things.
Yeah. My niece actually learned through a few things from him because she's she was in a solicitor's office, and she completely like when as soon as she sees that he's in any of our events, it's fantastic. So I've got the ladies football on as well.
Oh, have you? Right.
Currently 4-0.
Who's playing? Who's playing?
Who? England.
Oh,
who?
England ladies against China at the minute.
Okay.
So if they win this one, does that mean that they don't have to then play USA as they're going up?
Because depending on the pointing system,
on
the way the World Cup goes, yes.
Yeah. Right. I actually need to go because I've got guests arrive and I'm going out for lunch, so I need to go now.
All right. Well, it was nice to see you.
So next week we've got Simply Deez Real Talk tonight. Next week, Tuesday, 12 noon, as usual. See you then. Have a lovely week.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Bye. Bye-bye.